The work that you're doing now is quite suitable for you. Mars being a strong factor also in your chart, Mars being influential in that it aspects the 10th house and the 10th house ruler, tells us that you could be quite adept at technical sciences also. And by technical sciences we mean the broad realm of, say, computer science, engineering, and those things which make use of, say, a mathematical ability or ability to use figures, facts, and information, and to use them in a manner which contributes to technology or use of technology in the kinds of work that you do would also be quite beneficial. It so happens that Mars and Rahu have to do with technology or technological kinds of training. In your Navamsa chart, Rahu associates with the Sun, who is the Lord of the 10th house, and they are aspected by Saturn and Mercury, which also have to do with designing and marketing, as well as accounting and bookkeeping and managerial activities. So let's just say that these are possibilities for you. I notice also in the Dasamsa chart, which is the 10th divisional chart, or the 10th Varga chart, Saturn is also in the 10th house, which is the house of career. Mars is also strong in the Dasamsa chart. So when we say technical abilities, we're talking about your ability to use technology and computers and to work with details and facts and information, and to manipulate all those in order to come out with a particular kind of product. Engineering is a technical science, for example, making use of those kinds of qualities or talents. Mercury, as I said, being in the 7th house, makes you quite conversational or quite verbal. In the chart of a devotee, it's good for preaching, it's good for teaching also, and explaining principles. Mercury gives an adeptness for explaining things in verbal terminology, and therefore you can be a good trainer or a good teacher in some kind of capacity. And also, moreover, apart from writing, to be involved with publications and journals and word processing, all are come under the influence of Mercury also. I should mention that business, trade, and commerce come under the influence of Mercury, or Mercury is the planet that rules those things. And therefore doing business independently might be something you might want to venture into. Also, Mercury has to do with networking and marketing, in addition to keeping and accounting. So those are areas of work which you could benefit from as well. So I think that really Mercury and Saturn are strong work significators, and so also Mars is a strong work significator also. And again, Mercury means marketing and networking and all kinds of detail work, including word processing, accounting, bookkeeping. Mars rules the technical sciences and therefore use of technology. Saturn gives managerial and administrative abilities, and also a particular kind of compassion that compels you to work on behalf of those who are suffering in the world. So all of these are contributive to your professional path, and so you can access any of them according to your choosing at any particular time. Now, specifically, later this year, in October of 1997, you're coming into the sub-period of Mercury, which in fact is going to be, a very valuable time in life for you, so far as your translation, and you're working on behalf of the BBT, and the translation of and publishing of Prabhupada's books would be very important during that sub-period of Mercury, which lasts from October 27th, 1997 to August 22nd of 2000. So I'm going to give you more about the details of Mercury as well as all the other periods as we go on the other side of the tape. Now let's talk about the health and longevity. In your chart, the ascendant ruler is in the 8th house. Now the ascendant ruler has everything to do with the health, the longevity, the physical stamina and strength, as well as the immune systems of the individual. I think that the aspect of Mars to your ascendant makes you somewhat prone to accidents or injuries due to an occasional impulsive or reckless way of doing things. Mars is an extremely aggressive planet, and when it aspects the ascendant like it does in your chart, sometimes you may act or do things too quickly. You may make decisions impulsively and regret it later. And this can cause you to get into injuries or accidents sometime if you're not careful. But on the positive side, Mars is a strong Yogacaraka planet in your chart, which means in the long term it's going to protect you from any chronic diseases or chronic illnesses. And as a matter of fact, the 8th house in astrology has to do with chronic illness or debilitating disease, and also the 8th house, if it is afflicted, it has to do with shortened longevity. Now in your case, the ruler of the 8th house, Jupiter, is in its own sign. It's in the sign of Pisces, yet at the same time Jupiter is combust, which means that it's too close to the sun, and planets being too close to the sun lose their strength significantly. So that's going to give you, that's going to shorten longevity somewhat, but it's not going to put you in the short term of longevity. In Jyotish, longevity is divided into 3 categories. Short life lasts up to the age of 36. Middle life lasts from then until the age of 72. And long life lasts from 72 onwards. So it pretty much puts you up into the latter stage of the middle term of longevity, which means that you would die sometime, around the age of 72, somewhere during the subperiod of Saturn, during the major period of Jupiter. Now Saturn's subperiod goes from 2044 to 2047, so that's somewhere between the 69th and 72nd year. And of course in the chart of a devotee, it shouldn't matter that you don't live up to the age of 90, because as you know, and as we all know as devotees, once our time has come, we welcome the opportunity to go back to Godhead. And in fact, if you leave the body during the major planetary period of Jupiter, which seems to be the case for you, then since Jupiter is strong in Pisces, and since Jupiter aspects the 12th house of your chart, which is the path of liberation, the 12th house is the manner, the destination after death, and the 8th house, where Jupiter is the manner of dying, or the consciousness in which one dies, then it means that in your next lifetime you're elevated. Your status is elevated. If not back to Godhead, at least you're taking birth in a higher position in the next life, in the family of Brahmanas, or in the family of persons who are highly intelligent or are highly purified. And that has to do with the aspect of Jupiter, not only on the 8th house, but also on the 12th house of your chart, both of them being houses of moksha, or liberation. Now, when the ascendant ruler is in the 8th house, and it's also in the 8th house with the 8th lord, this is a yoga which can diminish longevity somewhat, and that's why you're not going to live till your mid-80s to 90s or somewhere in that range. But however, it does enable you to leave the present body sometime during the dasha of Jupiter, which is very auspicious for you.